Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Century Age of Ashes. So we're back again for another video, and this one we're going to do some tips and tricks. Some essential things that I've seen that people don't seem to be utilizing, whether they don't know about them or they just simply forget in the hectic, fast-paced matches. I'm not entirely sure, but I wanted to make a video just so I could cover a few of these things, and that way hopefully get you guys up to speed and maybe make your matches a little bit easier. So we're gonna jump in. I do want to mention I did cook up something a little special for you guys. Now, keep in mind that my work with editing is subpar at best. I am very new at it, very inexperienced, so it isn't as cool as it could be, but hopefully you guys do enjoy it. So I'll have that play in just a second. Um, yeah, as per usual, guys, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to give it a like. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. It is free, and it does help the channel out a ton. And don't forget, when we do hit 400 subscribers, I am going to be doing a giveaway for a free Wyvern key, so keep that in mind. And yeah, let's jump right into the video.
I am fire. I am bear skills.
Welcome back, guys. So hopefully you did enjoy that. Like I said, not a pro at editing, not even close. So that probably wasn't as cool as it could have been. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Um, and yeah, let's jump into some tips and tricks. So starting off with tip number one. So tip number one is going to be know your class's health. So each class has a different amount of health based on their dragon. So starting off with the Marauder. So the Marauder has 125 health. If you look in the bottom left, you should see an arrow pointing down at the health bars, and each section there counts for 25 health. So the Marauder has a total of 5, which means 125 HP, and that's what they have. Moving on to the Wind Guard. The Wind Guard is going to be the next tankiest with 100 HP, so 4 sections of health bars. And lastly, we're going to have the Phantom, which with having 75 HP makes them the essentially glass cannon or rogue of the, I guess you could say, archetypes that are in the game currently. So that's just tip number one. Know that your class does impact the amount of health you have. So the Marauder is going to be the tankiest, the Wind Guard is going to be the next tankiest, and the Phantom is going to be the least tanky. It's going to have very low HP, more of a glass cannon. So that's tip number one. Moving into tip number two, we have use your directional camera. So using your directional camera is very important. I don't see a lot of people doing this, or a lot of people don't even seem to know about this. So I want to make sure that you guys were aware. If you take a look in your settings under controls, you should be able to go through and change your bindings. But essentially what this allows you to do is it allows you to look up, look down, look behind you, look to your left, look to your right, and look under you as well. So this is really important. This is how people are, if you're having any trouble with people seem to track you a lot better than you're able to track them, most likely they're using their directional camera to their advantage. So keep that in mind. It's very important to kind of learn how to use them properly. I know it can be a bit hard because of how it messes with the camera angle, but once you get used to it, it's very useful, especially the one where you can look behind you. Super key for knowing how many enemies you're dealing with at a time. It saved my life knowing about it multiple times. So moving into tip three, you're going to want to hold those boosts. That's tip number three. So whenever you boost and use a stamina chunk, you're going to gain a boost of speed. And I see a lot of people are boosting quite rapidly, and they're burning through their stamina really quickly. And you don't really need to do that. Um, in the gameplay that you're seeing right now, you should see basically me boosting around the map. Um, and if you guys take a look, whenever you boost, the wings of your chosen dragon kind of tuck underneath the body of the dragon in a diving sort of format. So whenever they're diving like that, you have the extra speed. So until the dragon actually starts flapping their wings again, you don't need to actually boost again. So it's around 3 to 4 seconds. that you can actually get a full boost going on between each stamina bar. So make sure that you're utilizing your boosts and not plowing through your stamina too quickly because stamina is really key in this game. It's very important for maneuverability and therefore not having to deal with, getting hit as much by fireballs, flame breath, and that sort of thing. So very important. Make sure to hold those boosts. So tip number 4, moving into it, tip number 4 is going to be that you need to use stamina rifts. Stamina rifts are your friend. Now, stamina rifts, you should see in the gameplay, are essentially the breaks in the ground, or essentially like the green mist that covers the ground, or the green like liquid that comes out of the ground. Um, should be very easy to see, especially in the water. We should be flying through that right now, and basically it's just kind of a green little pathway. And when you fly over that, you get your stamina back. So they're very important. Stamina is one of the most important things, and managing it properly is going to make the difference between, you know, winning, losing, getting that kill, not getting that kill. I actually have a problem managing stamina myself, and I can't tell you how many times I could have saved a teammate or gotten a kill if I would have just had an extra stamina bar because I didn't manage it properly. So make sure whenever you get an opportunity, you're using those stamina rifts to replenish your stamina. Moving on to tip number 5, height isn't everything. So in most games, people don't look up. I find in Century Age of Ashes, everyone's flying, so nobody seems to look down because, if you can fly, so people are going to be high up in the sky. People aren't really going to expect to really see you down low too often. A lot of the times on maps such as the Carnage map, the Big Lake, I would pronounce the actual name, but I have no idea how to. But essentially on the Big Lake map, the one we're flying around on, I like to skim the water surface. This allows me to stay close to a lot of stamina rifts, and a lot of people generally don't look down. The only places people are really going to be looking down is to go underneath in the tunnels, but in comparison to how many people are up higher up in the sky, you're going to be targeted a lot less. And because you're next to stamina rifts, it's going to make stamina management a lot easier, which is going to mean when you do get an opportunity to go after somebody, whether you're trying to help your teammates get an assist, you're trying to get a kill, maybe trying to deny a, Gates of Fire uh, flag runner, it's really key to have your stamina. So being low to the ground, or I guess low to the water, can be really nice. It also works in the city. Flying lower in the city is really important a lot of times because maneuverability is something that's super key in this game. And if you can master maneuverability, you're going to be ahead of the game. So being able to fly in and out of the city's buildings, through all the small little tight corridors and angles that there are. It's very important to learn how to do that because you can lose your enemies that are following you. A lot of the times, if you fly in tight spaces, you can avoid a lot of damage from fireballs and flame breath. So it's very important. Now, moving on to our next tip, which is tip number 6, boosting while diving extends your boosts. So essentially, whenever you're diving down and you boost, your boost is going to last a lot longer. It should be showing on screen right here. We're going really high up and then we're diving. And if you guys pay attention, the wings actually stay curved under the dragon for almost the entire process. Like it takes a long time for us to go completely from way high up all the way down to basically skimming the water. And then even for, a pretty decent distance after getting down to basically being level and not diving anymore, we're still getting that boost from the boost. We're still getting that speed. So it's very important to know that when you're going down, your boosts are going to last a lot longer. I see a lot of people boosting more than they need to when they're diving, and it's going through their stamina really fast. If you guys haven't noticed the theme yet, stamina is super important. Now moving on to our last tip here. Uh, Tip number 7 is don't waste your rage. So your rage is super important. Essentially, how it works is after you take a certain amount of damage on each class, rage is then stored. So then whenever you proc your ability, your class-specific ability, for the Marauder, that's going to be the Hunter's Mark ability. For the Wingard, that's going to be Salvation Surge. And for the Phantom, that's going to be Mystic Shroud. Whenever you activate that ability, when you have your Rage active, it is going to activate your Raged ability. So for the Marauder, we have essentially infinite Hunter's Marks, and everybody's marked. So essentially, it applies the Hunter's Mark to everybody on the map all at once. And it's pretty simplistic. That's all it does. With the Wingard, the Salvation Surge turns into a better version that gives extra shields, as well as giving a short duration of Berserk to your ally that you do actually buff with that. So really, really powerful on Wingard. It can change a lot of games. I've seen a lot of really good Wingards boosting their teammates, getting Berserks off, and it's honestly won games. Like, it's really important. A good Wingard can do a real lot for the team. Moving on to Phantom, their raged ability is essentially they become invincible and they become untargetable, so they can't take damage and nobody can target them, and they have infinite fireballs. Their fireballs also do extra damage. It seems the fireballs do the same damage as they would when you're coming out of your cloak, but you have an infinite amount of them, very similar to the Marauder's Hunter's Mark, except you don't have the super awesome lock on that the Hunter's Mark gives you. You just have infinite fireballs that do more damage essentially. And, invincibility and untargetability for the duration of the rage ability. So that's all 7 tips. I have one little bonus tip for you guys. You can actually bonk the bell. So on the lake map, you can actually dive face first into the bell, get a nice, satisfying bonk sound from the bell. It's very important to assert your dominance on the enemy team by bonking the bell. So don't forget to do it in your matches. It's really hilarious. I think it's a great little addition. It's very small, but it's very entertaining. That should do all the tips for this video. I will be doing more in the future, so keep that in mind. I will be doing some class-specific guides very soon. Probably be my next uploads. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested. And as always, if the video was helpful, make sure to give it a like. If you're new to the channel, always make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. And hit that bell so you can get notifications whenever I post new videos. And hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next one.